the button. Dead lively. We're so lively that we appeared dead. Evening all, or for Stuart, 5. It's kind of, do you feel like the evening, Stuart? Does it feel like late in the day for you?
I'm tired, yeah. I did a lot today, so yes.
Yeah, I've started the Doctor Monster Energy. It's like a fruit punchy one. It's not as good as a normal one, but
I just got peach drink.
it's quite refreshing. So this is the pre-show few minutes while people jump on. And I have to get the pictures because I haven't got them yet. But I'll go to the new Mark Lawrence applied hard drive. Yes. Because, boy, I was running out of space. So what are we doing today, Stuart? And how are you, apart from tired?
I'm fine, and we did a thing. We watched a thing, and we're going to talk about the thing.
I just finished, like, 5 minutes ago. Today was so much stuff.
So I just want to say hi to Alan, Thomas. Thomas, I see you. Raj, Christian, and Kurt. It's all I can see in the chat right now. Yeah. Yes, so we're going to do we're doing our rewatches of Discovery, and we just watched episode 4, which is The Butcher's Knife Cares Not for the Lamb's Cry, which is a very wordy title.
Yes.
But very appropriate.
Yes.
Now we got Ian, Jill, Dave, Raj, Wesley. Lots of people now.
Many people are butchers in the Discovery universe. Did you see the Earl's new Chancellor uniform? Yes. That was a wonderful post. We should totally talk about it at some point because it's just so random. I can't help but know now that I've now met Laurel, met Mary, and I've got a whole different appreciation from the person behind the mask. Even watching this, and I'll say it now, I met basically the entire Discovery cast because they're all a destination, which was really cool actually. I spoke to almost everyone. I spoke to Cole, and he's like this. He's not like this at all. He's like, hello. I'm like, dude, okay, cool. Stammett's very similar to as he was a little bit, not as mean. But the Doctor chap, like I watched this, Hugh, I'm like, no, he was nice.
Mm-hmm.
I've now got a personal connection with all of them in some small way. So it's like, oh yeah, it changes it. It's not out of context anymore, Stuart. It's like, oh yeah, I know these people.
Yeah, and the fact that they kind of watch our content, which is neat, or know of us anyway.
It's a thing, right? I will post this video.
You do so.
Yes, and this is a re-review. Do you want to clarify why we're re-reviewing? So we did lots of coverage at the time. Why we're re-reviewing?
Well, we're re-reviewing to lead up to the season 2 because now that we know the whole story arc for season 1, we pick out a lot of things that differently, having rewatched it and going through it again, and knowing where characters go, how things turn out. It's easier to get little tidbits, little snippets of information out of these other episodes that you can see the overarching story, I guess. Especially with Lorca and things. Really noticing a lot of... I mean, a lot of people had kind of called it early that he might be from Mirror Universe because of the way he acted, but it's good to see that in retrospect and actually kind of put the pieces together a little bit better. And we're basically just doing it so that we can chat with you guys about it as well and get your take on it as a lead up to season 2, which is coming out in January, which should be fun. So there you have it.
Strong summary.
Sure. Words and things.
I've wrote my thing. So, okay, if you had a smally summary, what do you think of this episode then? Because I don't think any of us have watched these episodes again. This is my first rewatch. I only ever watched them once properly at the time, and then note pass with screen caps. It was kind of like very stilted. I just watched it first, and this is like, right, we've got to remember it. Haven't touched it in literally, because when we did the first episode, it was a year and like 2 days since the last first episode that it came out first time. So it's weird to think we're sort of roughly a year off from every episode. So what was your summary of this one then?
This one I noticed the Klingon plot a little more, having watched it like this is probably my 3rd or 4th viewing of this episode, because like the first time we watch it, then we watch it again to take our notes. And then this one, I just took notes while I watched it. But it's easier to get the feel for the flow for that discussion about the Klingons with the subtitles and stuff this time, because I was paying a little bit more attention. However, still doesn't impress me, the Klingon part of this. But, and I had forgotten a lot of the stuff that happened in this episode as well.
Yeah, it's a weird, because this is when the direction shifted, and you can kind of feel it's like it ramps up a gear and then goes sideways. Like you can sense that it's like, well, we're not following the same pace, the same flow as last three. We're introducing and changing, and it's just, you know what I mean. This is the one where things. This is the first non-Brian Fuller episode, for better or for worse. And I think we can all agree now for better, given the changes seem to be happening. So you liked it, in summary?
Yeah. Yeah. It wasn't as good as I don't even know what I said the first time. I enjoyed it enough, but I know there's better stuff coming, so I'm kind of waiting for that. Okay. But there's a lot in this episode. Like I said, this one feels very cram-packed. There's a lot going on in this episode, and it's kind of hard to sift through it all. There's two distinct storylines: the Klingon and the Ripper, and the Jack the Ripper. And something really exciting and good happens in this episode, which I like. We'll get to that when we get to that.
Yep.
But yeah, so I mean, definitely two distinct stories going on. Very, very, very crucial to what comes later, both of them, and it is very packed, full of information and such. Yep. So
you used your old notes. I took new notes because I wanted to do it fresh mind. Well, someone just asked, have we got our Discovery Season 1 Blu-rays? Not released in the UK yet. It'll come on like 16th. So, but I'm at a convention working, so I'll be able to deal with that on Monday.
Yeah. Jill's asking what I thought of Age of Discovery for STO. I enjoyed it, but it was very short.
Yep. So my summary for this episode was I actually really enjoyed it. As we've said before, each episode, take it as it is, good and the bad. This one I thought was actually pretty solid. I'm pretty sure I didn't like it as much last time, but for the most part, I enjoyed the ride. I think this episode benefited on it was so focused, and so much things happened that there was very little wasted time beyond the death of the character. So that you just keep following it, and it's obviously trying to slightly change course, but you get a sense of what they're trying to do with that as well. So I was like, oh, this is okay, this is an interesting episode, and I liked some of the small things, lots of little problems, but they were the same canon problems, the same problems. But I mean, I like the pace, I like the acting. This is the same director that directed the last short, we talked about yesterday, and in particular, the lighting is darker in this episode, which worked for the most part, although a lot more shaky cam, and it was really it was very shaky in some scenes, just because they thought this scene of size is too boring. Let's make it interesting for the audience. It's like that was a poor decision, but that's a minor thing. It's just a flaw in the decision-making process. And there was a shot that he borrowed from himself from Calypto with do you remember when the corridor light turned on for Lorca? The exact same shot in
exact same shot. Yeah, I noticed that too.
Which we would never have got. Now we go back. So that was so I think this will probably go up in my ratings. I think from the first time. So that's a surprise to me. But hey. Which is funny because last time you liked the last one more, I liked it less. So that's kind of fun to have it the other way around.
We got a super chat from Ian Warrender.
Hey,
£5.
Thanks, sir.
Hey, what do you think about number 1 becoming Discovery Captain after Pike leaves? Keep up the good work and don't let any negative comments get to you. I think that's probably a good idea and could really work well. It would give a lot more depth of character into that character, and we can learn a lot more about her that way. And I think that's something they might do, but at the same time, they were on their way to pick up another captain. So I don't know what's going to go on with that, but that would be interesting. I wouldn't mind seeing that, to be honest.
Yeah, it hadn't occurred to me, but that's a really I mean, she's not really a character yet. You know what I mean? No one in the pilot is per se a fully fledged character, but I mean, if she's qualified, if it's a good choice, yeah, could be interesting. I never thought that, but yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. First thing I want to say is this opening replicator scene where you see the actual replicator doing its job is very cool.
Not replicator. It's what do they call it? It was something else, but it's a pre-replicator.
Like a resequencer or something.
Yeah, resequencer. Yeah, that's just because it doesn't replicate things, and that's the thing about Calypso, how it could make food and such. It's not actually replicator, but yeah.
Yes.
Basically the same thing, even though it's meant to be different.
It was just a cool opening shot. It looked like a storm of some kind in space, and it just, as they panned out, it was just the fabric getting created, so it was really cool.
Even though it's not a space shot, the space shots in this episode are on point. And this is close enough to a space shot, so I'll include it for fun's sake, so I like the space stuff in this episode. Mm-hmm. It's all nice.
Yeah. And then basically Tilly says that I picked something up for you. You were in the shower at the time, so I went and got it so you wouldn't have to go to the depot. Here it is. And it's Captain Giorgio's last will and testament, which kind of upsets Burnham a little bit, which is understandable, considering that she very much let her down, and yeah, turn of events.
Yes. But I found it odd. I didn't pick them up the first time, or I might have, but I've forgotten. So there's a post depot on a classified special experimental ship where shuttles deliver them post. So you tell me ships have post shuttles to a special, we presume, secret, since Lorca got above top secret. So you tell me there was a secret post shuttle?
No, it's just a post. It's just a mail shuttle that delivers the mail. If anything from a starbase, yeah, all starships would have that, or pick it up at the nearest starbase.
Yeah, I would say you pick up your mail at a starbase. It doesn't come to you, because you know what, it could be. It really is going to send a warp
near enough,
shuttle.
If you're near enough to a starbase, they'd bring it to you, just like they did in the war. They'd bring it to you. You don't have to go pick it up at the.
Well, yeah, but a warp 2 shuttle to a ship out on the edge versus a warp 7 ship back to you. I mean, it's like Picard taking Wesley on a shuttle to. I mean, going at slower speed because why not is silly. It just really stood out to me. It's like, oh, that was weird. Post depot. I don't think calling it a post depot with the postman. I don't know. Stood out to me a little bit. And obviously we know what that was, and how we'll get to that at the end. Mm-hmm. But the mirror's still great.
The holographic mirror is really cool. It's a good idea. It really is.
That's still a perfect reinvention of tech, but not, you know? Mm-hmm. I can buy that for $1. That's happening. We have Sarah and Burnham aggressive again. They're back on their butting heads, although explained why it was so nice last time, which was kind of good. But it's like, oh yeah, this is the relationship we expect from the book and from the pre. They just hate each other, and it goes beyond like professional jealousy. It's just like, really don't like you. Was like 7.5 years ago. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Sarah was like, I was just being polite when I said that. Which
because
I never expected to see you again. He actually was very honest about that.
Some good honesty in this episode, actually. But then you realise that, okay, from this point onwards, Saru has less and less of a part. Because they sort of thought, oh, he's so great. Oh. But that was Brian's idea, let's not use him as much. Because we liked him originally and he just wasn't used very much.
Yeah, my ganglia remain unconvinced. Yes, that was a good line.
So it's genuinely a reasonably good episode. I'll absolutely give him that. Stronger than last week for sure. Battle drill, which I liked, although again I kept thinking, how are Discovery's phases? How can they destroy a bird of prey in one shot with shields? Like it's classic Star Wars. No one cares. Space battle logic will just pew. Oh, it's dead. Pew. Oh, it's dead. But we can take 10 shots. And we see that in battle at the end. Pew pew. 2 birds of prey dead. It's like, oh, okay. Give us a space battle, then just give us pew pew.
Yeah, your signal's breaking up a little bit. You're very choppy right now.
Yeah. I can still hear you just fine. Let me close all my internets.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the same actually. Close a few
Well,
things.
it shouldn't passively take internet, but it's okay.
Sorry, people were just saying in the chat it's very muffled. I could hear it, but I wasn't sure they could, so.
Well, I can't really do anything about that.
Seems to be clearing up right now, so. There we go. That might help too.
Only 53 people watching this, Stuart. Must be a slow night.
Must be. That's okay.
No one's around.
Yeah, you're a lot clearer now. Okay, good. Well, how many do we have watching right now? Let's see. Mine says 54. Anyway.
Mine says 49.
And I wrote here too that I really love Lorca as a captain. Like, as you know, we're in battle. He's standing up. He's barking out orders. I love that. I've liked Lorca since the first time I saw this. I think he's a good character and a good captain, despite the fact we know what he is now. But I think that's what you need in a captain: somebody that's on point, somebody that's very much giving the orders of what he wants, what he needs, and is in the thick of things. And the fact that he was standing right up front by the view screen calling out orders was awesome. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, it's interesting because now you can see that he was the only thing they knew what was going to happen fully, even though things got changed. So you can every single thing he does and says is in the pursuit of his goal, which only now know in retrospect. And so everything he does in this episode is just, as it says in it, we're no longer a science ship, we're a battleship, doing war drills. Every time he pushes them further into the acceptance of we're going to go kill things and be destructive and boom, boom, boom. So that's all he does. He's not so much he manipulates them literally. He uses every trick in his evil mirror rulebook to slowly corrupt this crew. And to the point that Saru says, "You are just like Lorca, like
you'll fit right in here." Yeah.
But if you're saying that as an insult, then you also don't like your own captain, which is fine. But Saru recognizes he's a Starfleet captain, but they will follow him for that was kind of a weird one. You'd think he'd be. That shows he's probably disloyal in some respects to Lorca, because
I think what Sarah was referring to specifically is the fact that Lorca didn't talk to him about keeping Burnham on board, and he said that Lorca keeps his own counsel. So Lorca doesn't tell him all the decisions he makes. So he considers that kind of a sticking point as far as having a good relationship with your captain. If you don't know everything that's going on, I think that's more what he was referring to, and not specifically the other. So,
yeah.
Yes, and then you got this really strange looking alien on the bridge, which was neat makeup. But again, we don't know any of the bridge crew. We just never get to know them really, which is a shame.
Well, they're not characters. They're just reaction shots. I mean, but you don't get a sense of it being crew. There's nothing to. They're not a crew. It's just the people.
Yeah. And there's that shot where he says, "Burnham, come with me," and there's that exact same shot from Calypso of the corridor with the lights off, and I kind of like that. At first, I thought it was because Lorca had the issue with light sensitivity, but I think more of it's an energy saving cost. That would make sense if you got a deck that's specifically not being used to just light up once it detects motion. It's a great idea for a spaceship.
And they're walking to his torture cave, and we know that's right at the edge of the back of the hull, so it's not a primary facility, and you wouldn't expect you to open that room up to many of the crew, because some might think, so you'd put it the furthest away from any people. So makes sense.
Yeah, I'm gonna call you back because you're breaking up again.
Okie doke, bye all.
And people are gonna just wait. So guys, we're going to give Samuel a call right back. Maybe this will refresh the connection, as it tends to do. Give me a call when you're back. Alright, well, what? In the meantime, Joseph puts in €2. 50 Discovery fans, so all the fans are watching. That's mean. I hate the ring sound for Skype. Okay, he is not... There we go. There we go. There we go.
Just restarted my Skype, so in case that helped.
That seems much better.
Yeah.
I just read the other super chat we got. Joseph puts in €2
Ooh,
and says
thank
50
you.
Discovery fans. So all the fans are watching. It's kind of mean, but
Yeah. Well, I said I like this episode.
yeah, everybody's
Now, this
saying
is
it's
when-
much better already. So there you go.
Excellent. So, interesting little comment as well. Lorca says, and again, every single line he says is actually carefully crafted. You can see that now. Because you don't know who's important as you're going through. But he says, Lorca studies war, when Burnham says about, this is, why is there two of me?
Well,
Okay, move me.
there's not anymore. I fixed
Yeah.
that.
So Lorca studies war, and then he says, she says, oh, that's strange. She says, he's doing it to hone his craft. Again, he's not hiding it. Captains wouldn't say that. But he's not. It's great. It's a good line, actually.
Mm-hmm. It's a cool armory of weapons he has, I gotta say. You see some Klingon disruptor pistols there, some batleths, some mechleths, a bunch of other rifles and Japanese swords and things as well.
I just like he's not actually trying to hide it, because no one is going to think he's Mirror, so he can be a certain amount of himself and not worry, because it's not no one's going to assume this. They just think, oh, he's a bit unhinged because he destroyed his crew, which we'll, I think, find out next episode. So there's a lot of carte blanche to do what he wants. And that probably explains why he was the last survivor of his crew, because he knew he couldn't get away with that. Like, we'll get to that in a bit.
Yeah.
I just thought it was interesting. They talk about Ripper. It says, natural aversion to light, same as me. Natural aversion to light,
Yeah,
same as
instead
me.
of battle damage. Well, I think
Another slip.
well, not really a slip. He's saying it has a natural aversion to light, but then the same as me, yeah, it can be perceived both ways.
I take that as a clever, well, he just slipped. But it works both ways, and that's the great thing about it. Another very clever line. He's still himself. He can only hide so much. So that was another good line. Again, once you know it, it's like, ooh, another little. Because I bet you he's not really hiding this entire season. We'll see it. He's just being himself. He doesn't actually change.
Yeah.
It's just nice, actually.
And it makes sense too, because later when Admiral Cornwall is talking to him, you're not the same man as you used to be. She just assumed it was because of what happened with the Bran and his crew, and that makes sense. That, like, things like that change a man a little bit, and so it all works together really well.
And if he's the one that blew up the Bran, he then can explain what happened. He can be the one that makes the story, and then people think, oh, sorry, Lorca, you must be really traumatized from your incident.
Now, I gotta ask you, I mean, one of your main complaints through this whole season 1 was not the best writing. Now going back and rewatching it and knowing the subtle little hints, like that one good catch you had of, natural aversion to light, is that you're appreciating the writing a little more now, if they had put that much thought into it to weave it through all the episodes? Because like I said, in hindsight, in 7 years, we're going to look back at this and go, it was really actually well crafted, maybe. So what do you think?
Yeah. Well, again, each writing is such that any one line can be good writing, any one line can be bad writing, any one episode with a different writer can be good and bad. It could be through more or less drafts. So it's tricky when I say this show as a whole is bad writing. Doesn't mean there aren't some good moments. There has to be. There's enough lines of dialogue. The only thing they kept fully intact was Lorca, and they knew going forward. They knew from the start. So he's the only thing that's going to be truly consistent, which is clear. So that's presumably where we're going to see the most cleverness is in the Lorca character, because they were like, well, we have to make this clever and give hints, but not too much. So I think that's going to be the big standout, actually. Whereas the first time around, I just didn't like him because he was being a really awful commander. Now you see him for what he is. He's really interesting because he's not hiding. Like the lack of not being who he is fun.
It's funny that you didn't like him because he was a bad commander, but I thought he was a good captain. I liked his character.
Yeah. We butt heads on that specifically.
Yeah.
But I was right. I was right. He's a crappy captain because he's not very reactive. There was zero training in Starfleet. Makes sense. But no, this episode I think was better written on the whole. But like I said, this was the first one written after Brian left. This was a hasty rewrite. And as we'll get to this in a little bit, this episode by the end of it, feels so much crammed in because they have to, introduce what Ripper is as a tardigrade character, make him a thing, to then lose him very quickly. Whereas originally, he was going to be a completely different character.
He's supposed to be part of the crew originally, yeah.
Yeah, and they might have found a tardigrade in the episode 3, but it would have been different where it would have gone. So it's interesting that, yeah, they have to introduce it so quick to then lose it so quick, and you really get a sense of that. I do think, and I hope you'll agree, that Burnham, her leaps of I think he can then move in space and time, all that crap. They're really big leaps. They're plot leaps rather than she would think that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just to get us to the next point. Although it does show her being clever, I just think it's a bit too much of a smart leap without appropriate evidence.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Absolutely.
But it gets us to part 2 because we need him to be gone in 2 episodes. Which is if you recall, Mirror Universe got pushed 4 episodes, and Ripper is in 3 of those 4 probably. So makes sense.
Yeah. Also, the next scene is the result of the Battle of the Binary Stars. Bunch of shipwreckage, dead bodies floating around. The sarcophagus ship with its concrete fix for the neck. This is where we find out this is 6 months later. So they're still in Federation space because they were in Federation space, and the Federation hasn't bothered to go collect the ship rubble. Maybe even
all the dead bodies.
The Klingons. Yeah,
all the ships with dead bodies. I mean, are you going to recover? But remember, Stuart, they did go back and recover the telescope, but didn't check on Takuma's ship.
Yes, because the telescope is important later.
But not Takuma's ship. Yeah, this is the worst. One of the biggest problems of the season. It's the, oops, we need this. Let's have them wait a bit.
And there's no way I don't know if it would have been better if they had not said the amount of time, or that the fact that they did say it.
Yeah, but it says for Burnham 6 months later, so.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean this has to happen 6 months later.
Oh, I talked to Shazad Latif about this.
Yeah.
Because, hey, I can say that now. And I said to him, and he absolutely agreed with me, and he was like really energized about it, actually. He said, yeah, he agreed that the reveal was too obvious, and that was just the easiest solve would have been to have the Klingon storyline not concurrent, so have things staggered, and then they re-meet up. So you don't know when this is, but then they reference events that happen earlier because this is earlier. So it would have been like a week, then this happens, which gives them then a few months for Tyler Vogt to be whatever. But you see Tyler on Discovery you're able to see Tyler and Vok on screen at the same time, because as soon as you don't do that, it's lazy. But you just say, because if Hannah said 6 months, then this could have been 2 months. And there's no reason to connect the two, but we have 6 and 6. Just a really poor writing decision. I don't know why.
But the amount of time is good for the one plot point where they're hungry. They were starving. They ate Giorgio.
Yeah.
But then again, that could have still been 2 months. They might not have had a lot of supplies on board, perhaps.
Although now we know in Calypso, a 1,000-year-old ship can still have enough resources to replicate food from a non-replicator. So I would assume a Klingon ship the size of a city, of 5 cities, would have enough food replication abilities to... Remember, Klingons are much more advanced than us.
This is an ancient ship as well.
Refitted with modern technology to be the most powerful ship at the time, because it was able to destroy a Shinjo easily and was still...
Is it, though? Is it?
No, but it's implied to be a serious threat. I mean, there's a reason why Discovery can't just shoot torpedoes at it in the final battle. It has to do this really clever thing. Besides its cloaking device, because what's the point of a cloaking device if your shields aren't powerful enough? So they're not gonna. I guess Klingons like live food, so I guess you could say they chose not to have replicators, but that seems like a bit of a flaw. I mean, wouldn't you have a Targ pit? I mean, you've got space to have a Targ farm.
Well, the Bird of Prey has a Targ pit. We know that.
Yeah, it's sad that it's sad that in this scene, because there's a lot of exposition. It's like we're gonna retell you what's happening. All Tyler had to, Vok. All Vok had to do was say, "We were lost in the asteroid field for months. Only now with input engines we're able to get ourselves out of the field." Now
Yes.
we're in sense of blind spot for 6 months. Only now are we out. Now we can look at these shipwrecks and get what we need. Wow, what timing Cole comes here? Yeah, because they checked back and a sensor beacon said there's a ship in orbit. Okay, great. Now they're back. One line in the thing they were saying, and it would have been great. Would have added more desperation, because now you just think, well, why didn't they send a beacon to get rescued? Why did no one check on them at any point? Why did was there not one survivor of the Shinjo that wasn't actually as injured as they thought they were? They woke up, thought, damn, I need to survive, and all these cool things just didn't happen.
We got another super chat from John Harrison.
Oh, superb. Thank you, sir.
Or Khan, I guess. Khan. £5. Have you seen the Kuch class Klingon ship on Eaglemoss? It looks so strange. We've seen them. We've seen them all.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah, it's one of the cruisers. The destroyer. It's very red.
Very red.
Yeah.
Speaking of red, the next picture that I'm on here, there are no birds of prey in the wreckage. Well, I mean, not functional with the part they need, I guess, or whole enough to have the part they need, because there were some birds of prey at that battle for sure.
A lot.
Yeah.
And given that they didn't warp in, they presumably were launched from other ships.
Yeah.
That's one thing. That's one thing I thought. Why didn't the Clone sarcophagus ship have any shuttles or any raiders or any small craft of any kind? Because a single craft. I mean, we saw what happened in Last Jedi. You can just pop out, get help, pop back. So I guess they had no warp-capable craft, despite we saw in Calypso, one shuttle was enough to go anywhere. Really? The crew didn't escape. They didn't have a max X. Again, it would have been cool if they'd said, Ty says, we've lost the non-believers. They ran away with our shuttles. Only the truest believers are left here alone. And those are the most zealots. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
And then they would have brought people back, but then you double up with the the thing. Again, poor story writing, but I think they'll just get past it. But they can't. Yeah, this is one of those we'll just shove it under the carpet. They're never going to explain it again.
Yeah. And then, of course, because there are no bird of preys or the lithium processing unit they require, there is one aboard the Shinjo, which is still operational apparently. And it I guess it'd be compatible. So.
Well, again, they're more advanced in Federation, so. Now, I will say I had no problem with the excess of Klingon language in this episode.
Not in this episode, no.
Okay. I wouldn't say enjoyed, but I was, again, because now I've met Shazad Latif and Mirishifa and know the layers of these people, I enjoyed them connecting more, because this is the only episode we get of them connecting. Mm-hmm. The only one of these people is these people. So they had to throw a lot of them in together, and it did build, but wasn't quite enough, especially not with the amount of semi-rape she does with Tyler. It's like give us a bit more, guys, if you really want to be full on. Well, I like how later on, not to skip ahead too much, but Cole says, "You're a failure, Vok." It's like, yeah, really is. Didn't get rescued in 6 months. Real big failure.
Yeah.
Imagine how many days Martok would be lost at sea until he worked out a plan to get rescued. 5 days would be dishonourable.
Yeah.
That was a leap year in the 6 months, Joe. So even an extra day of being lost.
All right, so then we get a whole conversation between Burnham and Landry, who's still being... I got in trouble for saying the B word last time.
I also edited it out of the original review.
But she is. There's no two ways around it. Again, it would have worked if she was from the Mirror Universe, which I think they initially planned, and then they needed to kill somebody. So bye-bye, and then throw her back in the Mirror Universe episode. Yeah. But here we find out that some information about the tardigrades, how they are macroscopic on Earth, live in bodies of water, can survive the harshness of space, blah, blah, blah. This is a large version.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a good expositional scene for the most part. It was just kind of... This whole episode was throwing stuff at you, which is what it was, But I really appreciate that Lorca, Burnham earlier says, well, I can help with the spore driver. He's like, yeah, no, you can't. You're an xenobiologist. No, you can't. This is something. I was like, good. That's what we said last week. She has no ability to help spore drive. Good. So I was like, at least she was doing her job. Actually doing her actual job. Because she doesn't do much of it the rest of the season. This is like her job, xenobiology. So I was like, good. But again, making huge leaps. Well, I didn't think Landry was harsh this time around.
No, I did write that she seems more human.
Yeah.
Because I took a few like staggered notes when I watched it yesterday. She seems a little bit more human and a little bit more tolerable until like a few scenes later, and then she's just. What do you think?
She just seems very, very focused, like really focused. But she wasn't being racist or sexist or alienist or bitchy. She was just being very focused. You know.
And you got to think of it too. Like she's, underneath Lorca. She just got reamed out by Lorca for the battle drills because they're focused on her face. Like we need to make this right. We couldn't make it much worse than this was. And then redo it, and then he takes Burnham off the bridge. So she's got to answer to Lorca. So maybe that's why she's the way she is, to justify that a little bit. But still, not my favorite character for sure.
But I don't know. They didn't care as much in this one.
Yeah, Mr. Captain 93. I do not have a Trans Am. I have a Camaro. Thank you very much. I had to correct that because that's just a grievous mistake.
Yeah.
Here we get to see Admiral Cornwall for the first time, and she interrupts Lorca while he's eating in his ready room. And he says something about bridge protocol. Just
what species is eating that you shouldn't be eating? Another little nice hint. He's eating a creature similar to the Saru style meal. It wasn't a Saru style meal, I'm sure.
I didn't even notice that.
It was tendrily and creaturey, and again another link to their right. It wasn't a cereal bar, it wasn't waffles, it was a creature alien thing. Another great link. And he's like, well, it's not protocol, but who cares? I guess he does is focused.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't waste it, which I really liked. Oh, and one more thing. Sorry, just jump back on a second.
Yeah.
I did think about the Klingon ship why they were left so long. What if Cole, who was obviously rallying the Empire, I guess you kind of get a sense he might have been the guy to rally because he told them so. They followed him at the end. What if they were letting them starve to death because then they could go pick up the ship without resistance? Because who knows how many of them died?
Makes sense.
And then he comes in at last minute to be a hero. So you let half them die, or all of them die. You come in, you be the hero, you take command easily. Or you could go there, have a battle with a ship that who knows how repaired it is. Do you really want to fight warriors hand to hand on this ship? So what's the one possible reason?
That actually makes a lot of sense and does help out the story.
It's just weird how many Klingons die in between because they don't have cloaking technology. But then they thought they could be confident enough to win without it. How long was he being stubborn?
Yeah.
Which doubles down. They call it cloaking technology. So is cloaking technology? It's not cloaking shield because they call it cloaking device. Yes. Same terminology, and they knew Romulan cloaks before we knew them. So yeah, sorry.
That's all right.
I saw that note and I was like, that's a one bit of giving them credit. You could sort of, yeah.
So the Admiral comes on and says you have to spore jump to Corvan 2. You need to protect this colony. Well, you need to get there. And Lorca's like, we can spore jump. And she's like, are you sure? Yes. And the next scene is Stamets saying, no, we can't do this. Which is awesome.
Yeah. Again, some genuinely good paced and better written episode. I will say I think this one was more on point, even if some of its content was a bit weak, but it was better on average, I think. Although 40% of all the Federation's dilithium, the Klingons attacked it 6 months in. If you were the Klingons, wouldn't you constantly attack it? Because that's a massive weak spot. They said half the fleet would go away if they lost that. The Klingon Empire is a bigger empire. At some point, how many ships are worth sacrificing to make the Federation lose half their fleet? You know what I mean? this should have been a constant war arc. Was we have to defend Corvan 4, another Klingon fleet is arriving. I mean, how many ships can you waste in battling? How, you know, do you know what I mean? I feel like that could have been a like throwing out a number like that is massive. You know,
Yeah.
It's like a Ruropenthe. When that goes, there's a big repercussion. It's like us attacking Ruropenthe. That would be headline news. And if they could just get into our territory and attack it without a cloak, and destroy the fleet, and attack the place.
It depends how accessible it is and to their borders, first of all, and how many ships they have allocated to that area. They might have to only do it in spurts because of that. They might have to. Who knows? It's war. It's military tactics. A lot can happen to stop your advancement or whatever. So
I just feel like, especially with the suicide bombers later on, why wouldn't the Klingons? Because they can't detect. We can't detect cloaks. Why wouldn't the Klingons just suicide bomb Corvan 4 with cloaked birds of prey, and remove 40% of the Federation's dilithium? They introduce things and forget about them because they're lazy. It feels like just saying 10% would have been a huge deal, but you could lose it and not have a problem. You know, 40%, massive. So, yeah. That's out more this time, knowing that it plays no part in the rest of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So then there's discussion on what happened to the Glen, how it went wrong, how they hit some kind of pocket and everybody spiraled out, and the fact that he thinks he can solve this issue, which they definitely try to do. But we'll get to that when we get there.
Yes.
The next scene is the sarcophagus ship, and guess who beams aboard? It's Call.
The only other Klingon we know about.
Yeah.
In a marvelous costume.
Is it Call
I
or
would
Core?
wear that.
It's Core.
It's Call.
Call? Okay. I have Core written down for some reason. Anyway. So he...
it's Call.
Yeah, this is where we find out they've been starving and, you know, they're out of supplies. They need help. And he comes he comes in like kneels. Yeah, kneels and Vox like, no, Takuvamo wanted us to all be equal, so stand up.
And he gives he says, whatever Takuvama is ours, is yours. So he actually gives him the ship, which I thought was kind of funny. Shows how naive Vox is. He believes in the unity, doesn't realize that Klingons outside of these walls aren't united. But I didn't. You know, he didn't take it by force. Vox take it to have it. They fed them all. Then they chose his side. No Klingon's honourable, and there's more dishonourable Klingonness, but it fit in the characterization of these Klingons.
But we still lack a dilithium processor. Apparently, they don't. You know, Call didn't bring one of those. Apparently, it's Call from the House of Core.
Yes,
so that's maybe why I was confused.
Yeah, that's weird. Why doesn't Cole just give them a bird of prey's processor?
We didn't bring a bird of prey. You can see the ship that he brought. He didn't have.
No.
Maybe the spare parts they have are different.
But they had a raider, which L'Rell steals, warp-capable raider. So they have secondary craft.
Yeah, but it might not be compatible with their processor unit that they need. That's why they were looking specifically for birds of prey. And the Shinjo's just happens to match up with the same frequency or whatever.
Yeah.
Reasons.
Yeah.
So now we're going to try the spore jump. And they jump, all right. The Ripper starts freaking out in its pen right before the jump initiates. Ship spins and whoosh, ends up...
And they die.
Oh, they very well could have. They are right beside an O-type star. So yeah, this is one of the first times, the only times we see an actual warp jump, where they jump away, which is cool.
Now, Stuart, are suns dangerous to people and ships?
I would say yes.
Is being close to a sun more dangerous to a ship? Would you say?
Then what? Going into it?
Well, no. If you're a long way away from a sun versus close to a sun, is one more dangerous than the other? Would you say?
Yes.
And would you say they were close to a sun here?
Judging by the photos, yes.
So they lowered their shields for this jump. And then in a few seconds after they jump in, they say, raise shields.
Mm-hmm.
So you're telling me this ship survived next to a sun without shields for about 5 seconds?
Probably. I think that's possible.
Don't buy that for a second.
I do. That's
not
fine.
even. I just think they didn't have to lower shields. They made a point to say lower shields. Don't say lower shields.
I didn't even notice that, but I don't have an issue with that at all.
It's just
it's an odd choice, especially when you're jumping into Corvan 2 where they're being attacked by Klingons, to lower your shields before you jump. However,
well, it's a necessity, isn't it, for the sport tech to work, I guess. But
it doesn't. Yeah.
But there was no sense of, oh no, the heat's going to kill us. Raise shields. It was like, oh no, we're next to a sun. I can touch it. Raise shields. No, sir, our hull's already melted. Like, these things are not designed for this. That would have burned them up instantly. That was another little poorly written science thing. It was more the visual rather than any thought put into it.
Plus, we don't know exactly how close they were. It was an O-type star, so it could be very huge. So it does look like they're close, but they could still be far enough away that it's not. I don't know. I don't see that as an issue. No, I don't see that. I don't see it as an issue.
Gravity's pulling them in.
No, I don't see it as an issue at all. They could have been like 200,000 kilometers away from it, but it's an O-type star, so it's so huge that it just looks.
I think that would have been a problem.
I don't. Next. I gotta disagree with you there. That's just something that.
Well, to be fair,
that's
can
nitpicky, in my opinion.
I would like that's a huge plot. To be fair, but to be fair, they can warp out next to a sun, which implies they're far enough away for the gravity not to affect them, because gravity would affect the warp drive. That's definitely been a thing before. And yes, a Burrell can survive next to a sun with shields. But do you remember how the Enterprise D had to have special shield drive units to go on next to a sun? Discovery doesn't even need shields. It makes the Enterprise D seem really shitty, doesn't it?
Could have been a different type of star, different type of radiation. Who knows, man?
Sure thing. Moving on. Oh, broken nose. What a wonderful effect. Still.
Yes.
And we get Hugh. His first appearance, episode 4.
Yeah.
What was a retroactive thought about that?
It didn't really have one. I thought it was a funny scene. I love that. I liked this initially when I saw it, their interaction, how, the frontal part of the brain's not important for anything. Just feelings, but I think I'll save it in case you ever want to have a feeling one day. I mean, that was just a great back and forth. Shows that they really knew each other, so.
Yeah. It was a nice little scene. Again, reasonably well written. It could have been slightly more relationshipy, because if that's going to be their big beat, because if you think Hugh's arc is really just we're in a couple, and I'm sort of the Doctor, but he really only cares for a couple of people max. One of them is his partner when he goes into spore coma. So there isn't much else the Hugh character beyond that. It would have been nice to have had a bit more of a going strong with them as a couple. I feel like now going back.
I think they did though. Like that interaction was very much a couple interaction, yet still keeping it a little bit professional. Because Stamets isn't one to no PDAs, no public displays of affection.
It's true. It's true. I think it's one line of make sure you wipe off the blood before you get home tonight, or you know what I mean. It's one little line of a personal connection, because that scene you wouldn't think relationship if you didn't know, and we knew going in that they were a couple anyway. So I'm just saying one line it needed just to really homogenize. But it was a good scene, and obviously Lorca again, manipulation is his game. He puts on the intercom these cries of the dead. And that is a horrible thing to do for his crew. Because if you think about this ship, right, 300, whatever they said, science projects, how many people are actually involved in the Spore Drive project? I mean, the ship was built around that, but if they do 300 different science things, I don't think the entire crew is Spore personnel, because then you wouldn't build a ship with both fully Spore Drive development and biggest science exploration abilities in Starfleet. They don't go together. So every person who's got no job in Spore Drive is hearing these horrible things that can't do anything about it. So in terms of it's a huge thing, and everyone knows Stamets is the head of that department. So it's a really horrible thing to do, because the chef, the janitor, the person who's working on this little warhead thing.
They're all in the military though. They're all in Starfleet though.
And it's not professional to do that. That's what I mean. Manipulation is really good manipulation, but it's really harsh for everyone who has no.
Oh, it is absolutely, but I think it's fair because everybody's in Starfleet. They all know what's going on. So
which raised a question, especially when they mention the spore drive later. Does everyone on the ship know the spore drive? What it does, what it can do? Do they all know?
I would
Black
assume
alert.
so. Yes. Yes.
So were they picked to be on this ship? All of them. I'm assuming Lorca did. But again, the massive science tech with it being a spore drive ship doesn't quite connect because, well, why? I don't know.
Yeah.
I just thought that when I was watching the episode. Do they know? If they do, then they all agree to be on the experimental frontline ship of transportation, yet not do anything about the teleportation. I don't know. Yeah.
And then the best scene ever in the history of
Ooh.
ever happens. For some reason, Landry gets a stick up her ass and decides to shoot or let the tardigrade out of its cell, and it lives up to its name and rips her apart. And yay, I cheered because I hate her so much. That's a good shot of the swords, by the way. Just gotta say.
Yeah, it is true. Yeah, weird scene, obviously, because she knows weapons don't work on it. I'm assuming she thinks this one weapon, but you're saying this weapon is so much more powerful than every other type of hand phaser, pulse phaser. It doesn't seem very powerful. It's just a let's kill this character and then never mention her again until she reappears as a mirror character, because there's no sense of mourning after this scene.
Nope.
It's so strange to have a character that we're meant to like.
It was such a quick death scene, and then dismissal of the death that it was just you could tell it was just thrown in last second, just penciled in. Landry dies here because she's an idiot. Oh look, she's in sick bay. She's dead. Next scene. It
probably was a reshoot.
Oh,
they probably shot lots of these scenes and then said, "Oh yeah." It was. I mean, and the fact that Burnham gets him back in the cage within about 4 seconds. It's probably the most pointless scene in all of Discovery.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, she does it's a clever reason to get her back, but then wouldn't you put the lights really bright? If you're gonna stun it, then put them bright so he can't get out of the cage. Then you just shoot it.
Yeah. So
no one was thinking that scene. And it just seems so strange that you're meant to sympathise and like the creature by the end of the episode. Everyone's like, "Oh, look at you eating spores." They killed the officer to death. Okay, yes, she attacked her first.
That's the best way to kill somebody, if I'm being fair.
To death. Yeah, it's true. But you would think that, like, Tilly would be like, "Oh, yay, it's eating spores. You murdered someone 36 minutes ago."
It was only Landry, and we all know how much of a bitch she was. So. Oh, we got 2 new super chats. Jill Wright puts in $5 with no comment.
Thank you.
And Stephen Fathery puts in $2. She thought the creature would be sedated from gas. Yeah,
she had no evidence for that.
Yeah, it was just a rash decision.
I mean, normally, if this is a dangerous, this thing they knew could rip open stuff in Glenn, so the same for Discovery. You wait and see if it's sedated before you do something else.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what Chief Tactical Officer, hampered by Landry, thought. Tactical.
Yes.
It's top tactical.
You know what happened was she knew she screwed up the battle simulations again after Lorca left the bridge, and she didn't want to hear him bitch about it. So she just said, "I'm going to kill myself." Yeah, death by tardigrade, suicide by tardigrade.
Yeah. Well, it's more honourable than many of the ways to go in this show.
Yeah.
Like being eaten by a carrot.
Oh, yeah, I hated that.
Yeah, so dumb.
Anyway.
Yeah, so that was but great makeup. Great. I mean, as a showreel piece, damn good, 8 hours of makeup to kill you.
I like Vile Mike's comment there. She only got the job because her uncle was General Landry, and she was too dumb to work for the Stargate Command.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Love it. Next, though, Shinjo, and again, another lovely space CG shot. A good balance between too dark and too bright. Lovely. It
was a cool pan into the ship and seeing the bridge all decimated, and the EV suit for the Klingon was really cool.
But when that's not Star Trek tech, definitely not Klingon tech. So I mean, what is Mass Effect tech? I mean, I don't buy that. It's Iron Man. Who cares how it works? Tech.
Yeah.
Whereas he could just done this.
It would have been better.
Cheaper. cheaper. I mean, not necessarily easier with the ridges, but it's like, damn, another lazy, stupid. Let's just mess up things because then why isn't? It's just whatever. I mean, I know it's meant to be a battle exosuit version, but come on, guys, be serious.
Yeah.
But they don't care. But I do love the little device to reoxygenate. Although I don't know why this guy, the head of House Takuma, would go to deck 1 and say deck 1 has nothing. It's like, well, yeah.
Well, you go to where your enemy was to see the vanquished remains of where they failed, essentially, and then you go do your business.
Well, yeah, but I feel like if he knows his 1,000 crew are dying of starvation, he lost 3 guys yesterday because they didn't eat. Is he really just going to check out the bridge when Norell's off? He would go and help, but he does in a minute. It's like, I don't know. It was just to set up the scene later on, so they could film both at the same time and save some time setups, and so they could show the hologram. So he has a I see Burnham, mohahaha. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. Then we see the dilithium processing unit in Shinjo. One sudden move and we join the Black Fleet. Very interesting.
This is a nice enough scene. It's really their only real scene together. Like them being them, and it's nice. You know.
I thought it was odd and out of place the first time, but now, going back and rewatching it, it's like this is really good.
Yeah, the Klingon stuff was actually done well in this episode.
Yeah.
When you know where it's going, what it means, which is again the real importance of this because we understand everything now. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the next scene is basically talking about the tardigrade. She puts it together that the spores, it's what it needs, what it wants, what it was used for on the Glen. So again, I don't really have an issue with this scene, although it does kind of come out of nowhere with her link to getting how the spores are the I can't even think of the word. Yeah, the common denominator. There you go. Of why this thing might have been on the Glen and why they were jumping so far. I mean, it just seems like a stretch, but anyway, it works out.
I mean, she's very clever in this episode. She's plot clever.
Yes.
It barely works, but whatever. We got to lose Tardigrade in 2 episodes. We got to introduce him first.
Yeah.
But it's okay. And then Tilly manages to sneak out of engineering with one of the very few spore containers without anyone seeing or caring. I guess you could have side beamed it, because you can side beam really easy in this show.
Yeah, even though it was really dangerous in TOS.
Emergency beam out. So she'll say, emergency beam out to special secret torch cave.
Yeah.
Password not mirror universe.
Yes.
Because you'll never guess it, will you? You'll never guess the password.
Yeah. And this is where they do some deductive reasoning, and she talks to Stamets, talking about how the Glen didn't have a forest like the Discovery does. They kept all their stuff down in the lower ship stores, all of their spores, and somehow this tardigrade got on board to feed on it, and the fact that the blast door for the engineering, whatever that room is called, is blown apart from the inside, meaning the tardigrade was likely inside. So kind of an interesting. I love how Stamets doesn't really believe her.
Yeah.
He's very skeptical, and even later decides to take a phaser with them just in case. But
I liked the writing for the most part in this episode. Again, it's a bit forced expositionally, but it's interesting. But again, they just lost their chief of security, and she really, this massive mutineer of the number 1 mutineer of Starfleet, who's hated by lots and lots of people, convinces the science officer who hates people in general to trust the alien could have killed the Glen's crew,
his friend,
who just killed the tactical officer. Again, we know she's special, therefore everyone knows she's special, and to trust her. It would have been nice if Lorca said, just do it, or something. Although, again, it's a good scene. I don't know. Yeah. Again, we had to get from A to B to C, so it's fine. Whatever.
Yes. What's that? Just looking at this bowl of whatever this is. It's like twigs and. Yeah, I know. It looks like there's rope and I don't know. It's just odd.
I took it as targ legs, like chicken legs.
Maybe. Anyway, so now they're eating. So yay, they're happy. Provisions from my ship.
Captain April says Vok really wanted that telescope. That's why he was there.
Oh yeah. Oh, where is it?
Yeah. Oh no, Kalish must have it.
Yeah. Anyway,
and if you guys have any questions or super chats, guys, do just put them in the thing. We always respond to them. So let us know if you have any questions or
we're trying to
comments about this.
Trying not to be as detailed in this one. We're just kind of skimming things. We'll go back and maybe discuss a few scenes specifically, but so yeah. So
it's another low honor Klingon scene because they go with Mr. Cole.
Yeah, and she basically betrays Vok, or pretends to anyway.
Yeah.
I remember we made a big point about that the first review. Like, she's all over the place. First she's with the Kuvama, then she's with this guy, now she's with this guy. Yeah. But
yeah. And again, I put down Vok is useless. Yes, he is. I mean, he's literally done nothing good so far in his career as anything. And
he's a good albino, though. Just saying.
He is. Yeah. Oh, sorry, jump back. Stammet said, I always wanted to speak to my mushrooms.
Yeah, it's not fair that he can.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we get the save. Spore drive now works!
With the help of the tardigrade. Let's introduce the two.
Yeah. Boy, that was relatively straightforward.
Use the tardigrade as a supercomputer. A navigational supercomputer.
And it's good that Ripper didn't, like, break the restraints and then stab the window and break out. It was allowed. You know.
Well, it built up a trust with Burnham, so it now trusted her.
Betrayed instantly. And then it beams in, or spores in, and then, like, again, I wrote, Discovery can kill a bird of prey with full shields in a single hit. 2 birds of prey, instantly. You devalue ships when you do that. And just birds of prey, which are not powerful ships, obviously, can lower the shields of a Discovery down from 100% to 40%, I believe it was, in about a minute.
There were
with
multiple
full bomb
ones, though, yeah.
It's true. But then Discovery shields aren't very powerful either. So it's mega powerful offensive, weak defensive, and shields can't just regenerate. I mean, okay, Shinjo's did from 0 to 50 in about 4 minutes, but you can't just regen that quickly. So again, you're trying to create tension by destroying things, but it's like you don't... Okay, I know in DS9, 3 torpedoes destroyed a Katinga, but they were wrong too.
Yeah.
Like, 2 wrongs don't make a right.
It's just for plot convenience, yeah.
Now I get if they didn't have their shields on because there's no reason to, because this colony couldn't attack, but that doesn't sound that if that's your reason, that's a dumb reason, and you don't deserve points for writing it. But they do get through the shields. Shields are down. The colony is finally destroyed. It's surprising that this bombardment lasted at least 8 hours. The Klingons sent... Okay, we'll break it down for a second. The Klingons sent a fleet, destroyed the Federation fleet. Potentially only birds of prey survived. I'll give them that. I can buy that. But wouldn't they send reinforcements as quick as possible? Like, wouldn't there be several waves? This is the second... This is the other most important location in the Federation after the 60% of dilithium. So it seems weird that these would be the only ships attacking, and obviously they get defeated. And
well, again, you don't know the whole story behind it. You don't know how close it is, how much supplies the Klingons have available in that quadrant. Maybe this is a off the cuff attack just because they think they had enough resources, and there's not necessarily any reinforcements coming. I know what you're saying, but we don't know the full story, so you can't.
They don't care about the full story.
No, they don't. But that's what I'm saying.
No full story.
Trying to justify it in the story.
I like the idea that the bigger ships were all destroyed by the other fleet and only the birds of prey survived. And then you could argue, if you want to actually think about it, you could say, massive battle, lots of ships got destroyed, these birds of prey were all damaged, that's why the shields are down or low, because they were still recovering from a big battle, and they were just bombing this shield bubble for 8 hours since the attack. So that would give why they were weak. I could buy that actually. But I still think there should be more ships incoming. The fact that they celebrate at the end of this battle to win very easily, it's like you understand that you've still left the planet defenseless, shieldless, burning, with wreckage flying to kill more people. You're not sending support shuttles or rescue shuttles, so therefore you're not helping them really. And there should be more.
It's more of a military attitude than a Starfleet attitude. Like,
it's a Lorca attitude.
Yeah.
It was purely a test for the Spore Drive to prove we could do it and to get an easy win for the Federation. But if they're 86 hours away, I guess at that point, like 80 hours, you would hear about the next engagement. You know, this should have been a continual thing in this season. The battle for, you know, Corvan should have been referenced often. You know, Third Fleet was sent to Corvan. We knew new Klingon ships are coming, and now they can cloak. It's even, you know, this should have been a thing. Might be referenced later. I might have just missed it, but I don't think it was. Yeah, what do you think about the Discovery blowing up really easily and then its trick to wait and do weapony torpedo things?
So frustrated with that.
Oh,
wait. Now, I just hate that kind of stuff. It gets me on edge. It's a good tactic if depending on the situation, I guess. But I think it worked there. Joseph puts in €2.
Oh, thank you.
Klingons were not united. It was a single house, maybe, that was attacking. That makes sense.
Well, but they do mention that we're united for now, later on.
Yeah.
It's true, but you would think that a single house might ask their friend house to come join, because if they get the honor of destroying the Federation's...
But it could be, too, that something happened, like Ryan says, their reinforcements may have been inverted to deal with new offensive or something.
I still felt this is more important than anything you could possibly have to sidestep it. And we know there's no Federation ships here to, you know...
Like I said, you're not sure how far this is in Federation space. If it's 40% of their dilithium intake, it would be pretty heavily guarded. And you've played Starfleet Armada. You build phaser turrets around your dilithium moons. You know you do. So if like I said, you're not for sure how far the Klingon border is away. So it could be that the reinforcements are coming, but they got intercepted by some... Let's say there's another Federation planet closer to that they're tangling with a fleet right now.
But that's the question. Would you rather send ships to defeat reinforcements or defeat the thing that's destroying your... Because once you destroy this station...
The reinforcements are important. You got to take those out, because otherwise it's just a brand new attack force once they arrive. So
I suppose if Discovery was saying we can do it, they would say, okay, that's covered. We'll deal with the reinforcements, I suppose. But saying 86 hours away implies...
You'd send a fleet of, like, maybe, let's say 10 or 12 ships to intercept this reinforcements. Out of those 12 ships, you'd send maybe 4 or 5 maybe to the planet, which is going to take a lot longer to get there, while the other ones take out the reinforcements, or try to. It's a game. It's strategy. It's military tactics. It all depends on the layout. You need to see the map. You need to see where things are to really say what their plan was.
I was feeling like we might... I believe we see a map later on in the season. I bet Cordan's probably on that map.
Corvan, yeah.
Corvan. So I bet we could probably work that out. But it's obviously a battle they thought very little about. It's again a ooh look, and ooh dangerous. You know, I just think it's just too easy. They destroy the stuff and blah blah blah.
Yeah, well.
Next.
Some great shots of that battle here, by the way. So.
Yeah, you're welcome. Well, we were saying things like, you know, how the shields were explosions again, and these thrusters, and there's lots of little details we saw in this battle that aren't as relevant now because we're, you know, looking at bigger, grander plot lines. I still don't like how these things fly. Although that said, Burrells couldn't do this. We've seen the one time they do attack a actual ground facility, they have to do massive sweeping attack runs. These things were like gliding around like VTOLs. So I really wish there'd been several designs. These have been the bombing version. You could have really, developed the Klingon culture like they said they would. And also, if the Discovery launched these weapons, knowing they could destroy the Klingon ships, what are these weapons? Because them being close wouldn't affect, like, if they're just torpedoes, then I'm just saying any torpedo getting close to any ship will destroy it. Well, these weren't specialist weapons; they couldn't be. I assumed. I completely forgot this is what the plan was. I thought it was that the spore energy would destroy them. That's why they're getting close, to get caught up in the spore drive and get killed. I completely forgot they're using mines, because it doesn't. I guess secondary explosions would destroy it, but I was like, oh, spore drive. Oh, it was just bombs. I was confused by that the second time round.
Mm.
I don't know.
Well, anyway, they're successful.
It was. It was.
Yeah, I wasn't sure exactly. I need to rewatch it again. I missed that part apparently when I rewatched it.
Of which?
Of that ending of the battle, unfortunately. 'Cause I'm trying to remember. Yeah. Right? What's wrong with me? Anyway, so
then we get the Vox scene.
yes,
You must lose everything, and this we really broke down at the time, guessing. And I'm going to go back and watch our old review after this is finished, while I'm doing some work to see what we theorized.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a nice scene, actually. It's a good scene.
My faith tells me this. Yes. Yeah, and the fact. Well, we speculated on a lot of stuff in this one. I remember that, and the whole. You have to give up everything. The matriarchs, all that's mentioned. Yeah, we definitely go into it. So.
Yeah, it's great. Although I do think that the way they would present, so the conqueror ship away, the rail's in a raider, it's obviously warp capable and beaming, and probably, well, it is those two-person craft. But you would think that the ship that was stolen from Cole's ship, because it's not on the sarcophagus ship because it can warp away, and if you had warp capable ships you would have used them. So she beams aboard Cole's ship, steals a fighter, doesn't get known they stole a fighter, doesn't get detected while the thing warps away, and then beams aboard 5 seconds later. I can buy stealth mode, but she wrote, and we see her later on, she's not at all affected by her stealing of one of Cole's raiders. But I found it a bit odd that, she's able to do that and be fine. I guess Cole never finds out.
Yeah, it was.
They don't scan it.
Yeah, it was odd because she wouldn't be able to catch up to the. Yeah, I know.
It's a classic scene of, oh, she's here now. Cool, moving on.
Yes.
It's like that wonderful scene I'm looking forward to where the Empress's Mirror Universe battleship destroys a planet from a different star system. Just stupidity.
Mm-hmm. And we definitely point that out in our first review. None of this makes any sense. But we do have some good speculation there, and I think a lot of it does come to pass further on down the season. So it's probably worth going back and checking out that review.
So then we get we feel sorry for this guy that murdered the officer. So I felt mixed feelings about this.
I didn't.
Honestly.
It was Landry. I don't really care. Good tardigrade. Good tardigrade. I'll give you extra spores.
If you hadn't had that scene, it would have worked a lot better, killing Landry. We didn't need Landry. She served no purpose, added nothing, was removed and meant nothing. It's obviously a character they cast, started, and then just like, oop, nix that.
Yeah.
Until later on, obviously.
And then comes the last will and testament of Giorgio, where she gives her the telescope, which obviously was retrieved from the Shinzo. Somebody grabbed it on the way out, maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway,
essential items only. Needs it.
Yes.
The important stuff.
Exactly.
This makes no sense. Like, it would have been cool for the replicated version. That would have made sense. Or there's a little note on the box saying, "Warning: this is a replica." Brackets, because the last one was destroyed, y'all.
Wow.
Which doesn't make any sense. Again, unless Vox ship was in the well of the star and wasn't detected, because then you could go after all the ships. But then you'd bring the Shinjo back, wouldn't you? You wouldn't need the Shinjo even half destroyed. You've got a perfectly working, processor core
lithium
thingy.
Processor,
yeah. And still pleasantly working hologrammatical pad things. But yeah, Telescope was a bit weird, and yeah. Hey.
Speaking of tardigrades, here's my tardigrade.
That's nice.
She's so ugly. Alright, so that's our review and rewatching discussion on episode 4. Yeah, I don't know what I would even give this one out of 10, to be honest. It's just, there's so much going on and so many things that either feel rushed, rewritten, or just not, they don't belong, that it just, you can tell there were problems with the production. And that stuff was changed last minute.
Gosh, our review this episode was an hour and 16 minutes. Holy hell.
And ironically, we've been doing this for an hour and 15 minutes and 44 seconds.
Good job, us.
So
okay, yeah. I mean, so I'm gonna go back and we don't have to necessarily listen to our old selves. I'll just go back and find what we said while we have audience chat and stuff. But I think this was better than I first remember, unless I gave it a really high review first time around. Then I don't remember. This is my favorite of the 4. I think. Yeah. But then do I want to give it a review for like Star Trek, for Discovery, and for cinema? Because on Discovery it's really high, on Trek it's medium, on cinematography it's fine, but like on the Discovery bar it should be higher now because compared to the 4. But now I can compare it to the rest of the season, but it's still probably top 4 for me of the season, top 5, in the upper bracket for me. I don't know, just kind of the rushed. It's like Babylon 5. They ran out of time. They had to really go through it fast. But there's like, it bounds along like oh, okay, stuff's happening pace. I don't know. I'm gonna give it 8.5. With the problems being the plot holes. But should that make it an 8 or a 7 because they're some of the biggest plot holes of the entire season?
yeah, I don't know.
It's tricky.
I give it a 7 because the 7's a nice safe bet.
Yeah. Did I say 8 or 8.5? I think I said 8. Did I say 8.5? I said 8. You said 7. You said 7. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't you talk to the chat, and I'm going to go back and listen to what we said previously and work out what we said score-wise to see if we've changed in a year of content.
All right, so what's going on in the super chat? The pug disguise.
You think
the pug disguise is not a great disguise for an alien? I know, but Jason Isaac said that there were no issues in the production. Apparently, it's all fake news.
That's called spin.
Yeah. None that he was aware of, because he's an actor. He acted his scenes, he showed up when he was supposed to, and yeah, he wasn't.
Remember, Jason was the one that said that his agent gave him 3 scripts. He asked, which one am I in? Number 3. The agent said, and the agent said, oh yeah, we'll change that script, so just ignore it.
Yeah. And
Jason was only signed on because he was promised a really good part. So when you're signed on to a show and told the one episode you appear in is not the one you're going to appear in because they're rewriting the entire script, when they're filming episode 1, there are problems. And that was by him, so we know there are problems. Yeah, and do let us know what you think with the number.
Oh, they are. Well, Mike's like 8.5. What? And then Joseph said, I agree with Stuart, 7. Vile Mike says 5, and that is being generous.
But in comparison to the other episodes, though, it's not good Trek, but in comparison to Discovery. Because I think the Klingon stuff works so much better now in retrospect. The Lorca stuff works so much better in retrospect. Burnham was actually intelligent for her own reasons in this episode. She was doing her job. Stamets was good. Her husband was good. Everyone was good. It's like when you know there's bad writing to come. This is a shining beacon of better writing, with some amazingly huge plot holes. But sorry, I'm going to listen to ours previously.
So Jill says this is my favorite Discovery episode, despite the problems with Thorell getting away with stealing the Raider and the existence of Landry. Well, yeah. Again, there are things that can't be explained, unfortunately, which is a shame. Vital Mike, give it a Trek score, then a disco score. Ooh. Trek score, I'm going to have to say... Damn. Maybe a 5.5 or so. As far as Discovery goes, like I said, I'm going to stick with my 6.5, 7, around there. I give it 1 dead tribble, says Captain April. Yeah. Sorry, Samuel's distracted. He's finding out our scores from last time. We should have them visually pop up on screen when we say them, so it'll be easier to find. We'll do that this season, maybe.
Yeah, this season we'll do that.
So, guys, if you have any questions or comments, put them in the chat, or do a super chat would be awesome as well. We really appreciate it. Joseph, I cannot. I love Discovery more than the average fan. That's cool. Everybody likes their own thing. I mean, otherwise the world would be a pretty boring place, right? Landry, natural selection. The stupid one dies. Yes, this is very true. The poorly written one dies. That's such is life. Vile Mike. Okay, that I can agree with. Hence my 5. Perfect. Let's see. Go back in the chat a bit. And of course that's not working. How to Train Your Tardigrade coming next summer from DreamWorks. Don't know if I'd watch that. Starfleet used a hardwired BIOS system. Already? Laurel is a Klingon Michael Burnham, the bestest warrior ever. The bestest ever. Let's see. The Vox scene where he's praying to Takuvama like he's a god is creepy and very telling for why he sacrifices himself. Yes, absolutely. He felt like he needed to belong because he had no house. He had no honor. He was an albino Klingon, so yeah.
So this was a funny old thing to re-listen to.
What? Okay, and you fill us in.
So just to remind me, in comparison to these 4 that we've watched, how would you rate this now?
Compared to the 4?
The 4 we've seen, yeah.
Well, it's better than the first 2, for sure. Third one... Why can't I remember what the third one was going on? Let's see. Hold on here. Oh, yeah. So the third ones would be ranked number 1. This would be ranked number 2. And then probably the first one and then the second one for third and fourth.
See, this is why this is so an interesting process, because I listened back and we were very different in terms of our scoring last time, because we were as we were going, and the plot holes were what we were focused on. This time around, we see all the grander arc stuff.
Yeah, we see where
last
things go.
time,
Yeah.
You gave us a 7 now.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, you gave a 4.5.
All right. I'll go back to that.
With a quote, worst of them all.
Worst of them all. Okay, I got to disagree with that now, because I really hate the first 2, because they're kind of like a standalone pieces, flashback, right?
See, that's great, because it shows that each one is dependent on itself. That is amazing. We gave the other ones worse, but we're not biased. We just take it as it comes. So you upped it by 2.5 points, Stuart. How do you feel?
Like an idiot.
I gave it a 5.5, so I also upped it by quite a bit.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's very telling. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Joseph puts in €2. Plans for next streams. When and what? Don't know, to be honest. This live stream's kind of... we're going to be doing another episode review probably on Sunday.
I've got the convention.
Oh, that's right. Well, I'm going to do a few lives this week at some point. I want to do... We got sponsored by Loot Crate, so we have the Star Trek mission crates now.
Yes.
I want to do a live unboxing of both of mine, because I want to get the stuff out of the boxes. Plus, there's a discount code in the in the description of our
Yes.
videos, so you guys can save money on the Star Trek away or mission crates. So I'm going to do one of those. I'll probably do some gameplay videos, and who knows? But we won't be doing an episode review this Sunday, I guess, because Samuel is away, which is fine.
What would be? I think it'd be great if we, because we do need to get through these. Maybe we do like one on Monday and Tuesday, and possibly Wednesday, because I know we've missed a lot of lives.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be tiring, but get some good live stuff out there.
Oh, we got another super chat. Samuel Custer puts in $20.
Oh my goodness!
Thanks for the content. Well, thank you for the super chat. We appreciate it.
It's a big difference, Samuel.
Yeah, and Samuel, such a glorious, honorable name. So strong and so noble.
Samuel, we do it for Kalish, don't we, Sam?
Kalish. I can't do it. I really can't. Somebody asked earlier if I could do the Klingon voice like Anti-Tracker. He does it like perfectly. I can't. I just
You have too much integrity.
Yes, something like that.
But yeah, there you go. Very, very interesting re-review. This is why this is fascinating, and I actually enjoyed this one, as I think you can tell. I think I enjoyed it as well. It was so not Burnham centric,
and yet she's the one that's like, oh, point A to point B. This is what she's very much Mary Sue-ish in this one, as coming to her conclusions. So, but yes, she's very, very much scaled down a small part. That's what I said at the beginning. There's so much jam packed into this with the Klingon storyline and this with the tardigrade that it's non-stop, but it seems too all over the place. It doesn't really flow very well.
But then this is probably one of the only truly ensemble episodes. Like true ensemble. Burnham is a very important piece, but if the entire show had been this, you see the crew, you see the Klingons, would have been very split. But again, now we're watching it back to back with for hindsight, the Klingon stuff we didn't like as much. So now we know. That's why I said very much at the time. Either you build a show with a week by week format, which is very specific, or you build it to a binge format, which is the rest of time. We could watch every single episode of Discovery in one day. We could, because there's not many episodes, and we would get the best, fullest experience of it.
It would feel like a movie, feel like a cinematic piece.
Yeah, it'd probably be a lot better, I think, as that. That's why I'm kind of excited to do a couple maybe next week to kind of build interesting flow, build on itself. But it's tricky, and this show obviously benefits from rewatch. But I'm those scores are brilliant. Love that. Love that. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it. Watch me talk. I haven't done that. I never do that. I don't think I've watched a single episode back that we've done for a long old time.
I don't know if brilliant would be the word I'd say, but anyway.
So yeah, it's up to you guys now. Chat to us, ask questions, super chat away, and we'll be here for a little bit longer. What are we at? We're at 1:30, so another bit. Do you have anything to talk about?
Yeah. But yeah, don't worry. There will be more lives coming this week, guys. I'll maybe start a model build or start building that Mega Blocks Enterprise. Maybe I'll do something. I'll be engaging with you guys for sure. Even on Sunday, I think I'll try to do one at our regular time.
We sort of slowed down on those. We apologize, but it's been like every single weekend's been a thing.
Like I said, our schedules haven't really been meshing up lately for that, so we'll get them out as we can. But don't worry, there'll be the odd one during the week where it's just like I feel like doing a live, so I'll jump on. Yeah. So not really scheduled.
When we get Discovery Season 2, we're gonna have to like real life. Go F yourself. Our schedules are connecting. We are working, family. Go away.
Because we're going to have Discovery, we're going to have Orville, we're going to be busy with regular reviews and live reviews of those. So, yeah. I
mean, I was thinking earlier today, is it worth, because we have a different audience that enjoys different things, to do like a 11-minute, like we did last time, of each, 5 bits of content, 11 minutes each, like we normally do film on the Monday, and then do a live each night about what that day's topic is. It allows the conversation and the video and the short-term, the long-term.
Possibly.
And it evolves as it goes, especially as people told us, like, after Trek, guys, you missed this. Weird, because I can never watch After Track. People can tell us as they go, news and stories, and we can. That might be worth doing. Tiring, but I mean, the Age of Discovery is a game, but our Age of Discovery season 2 is happening. Oof.
And we got a super chat from Richard Kennedy, who puts in £5.
Richard,
just in from work, so I'm going to watch this from the start now. But here's my money, take it. So, thank you.
And Richard, what do you work as? It's quite late to get back from work in the UK.
Oh, Thomas says the commander needs a promotion in capitals. I'm going to let you field that question, Commander.
I don't think I do. Well, unless, to be fair, you could promote me and demote me in the same video, or make it a week long.
I could offer you a promotion. You could mull it over the whole episode as we're talking, and then turn it down like Riker did at the end.
Do a whole video about Captain Culking's question mark.
You do realize that people commanders can be commanders for 15+ years sometimes. We've only been doing this 4 years, guys. We get that you go on him to be a captain, but it breaks that whole duo, the captain commander shtick that we got going on. It doesn't work then, and I'm not going to be promoted to admiral.
And I'm 25. Yeah, and 25-year-old. Yeah, I learned from Kirk, you won't be. But 25-year-olds aren't captains. I'm obviously pushing it beyond belief at commander. But that's more. It just happened in the format. But I mean, come on, as a commander, I can still operate DS9.
And Joe Wright,
do a lot as a commander.
Yeah, Joe Wright says Commander Cockings sounds a million times better than Captain Cockings.
Yep.
Just the way that the syntax works there, yes, I kind of agree.
Absolutely agree. Although Kirk and Spock are both captains on Enterprise. Sure, but again, it's the bit. It doesn't quite work. Maybe I should get demoted.
Ensign Cockings.
Well, I was going to say lieutenant, but we could always do a meta story, randomly. You get promoted for 2 weeks for heroism. We sprinkle little bits of CG video in between our episodes, like Red Letter Media, and have ever evolving.
How about a Captain Commodore duo thing? No, I don't want to be. Commodores are the most useless thing ever. I'd rather be an admiral than a Commodore.
But Commodore Cockings sounds better than Captain Cockings.
This is true.
What sounds okay? Commander sounds best. Ensign Cockings, okay. Lieutenant Cockings sounds. Lieutenant Commander Cockings sounds fine.
It sounds really good.
But Commander has a nice ring to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, is it worth me showing the new potential lighting thing while?
Sure.
So just a cool little update. At the event I'm doing this weekend, it's the Kalmach went Klingon there. Kalmar Stargate convention, where I'm doing a full thing, green screen shoots. Lots of fake backgrounds, but to my same sort of pro quality as I hope to do. We had a couple custom built, and then pre-existing ones like the pole jumper, all with the guests and also just by yourself. So if you want to come, I believe it's in Leicester. Yep, Leicester this weekend. But just search Kalmar. 8 guests. They just announced Christopher Judge, who played Tilk, 4 days before the event. That's a ridiculously big announcement. But these guys are semi-sponsored by MGM now. They're kind of in a tester phase, see if they can run it well, which is exciting because I've been there since the second convention of their group, and I'm very proud of the green screen I can offer because it's 4K high end. I actually add digital shadows to the people because effort, it's important. And so as part of that, last year I piggybacked. It was a very short notice thing. I piggybacked on the photo shoot people's kit to do the green screen. We had to split money and all that stuff. This year we invest actually in kit ourselves because we had to do two different locations. And so as part of that, we got a relatively inexpensive setup, but that included some lights. And so this is me normally. How I've been for a while. I'm using 3 lights.
Oh,
boom, boom,
ding!
Yeah, there's one on my side which is bouncing light off this wall, and there's 2 behind the monitors which bounce off the wall. As you can see, it still looks okay with one. Actually, it's just very grainy, and you can see there's a lack of light. And if you take all the lights off, now I have just the monitors, which actually looks kind of cool.
It does. Looks like you're Section 31 for sure.
Are you on trial, Stuart?
Yeah.
If I just use this new light, single light does this.
Wow.
There's quite a lot of light, and just a single piece of light does quite a lot. So if you turn everything else on, you can see how it's causing light. But I like bounce back because there shouldn't be any. Even with this, you can see it's highlighting quite strongly, but if you do more lights, it sort of readjusts. So you can progressively see as my quality goes up.
So are there 4 lights?
There are now 4, well, actually, there's actually 4 lights inside this one piece. So this will be used in the green screen, and it's a thing with a light box. And this is it turned on.
Nice.
So a little bit bright, but as you can see, I actually got it. I bought a reflector just in case that was going to work, and so I've got it lighting which bounces off the ceiling and back onto me, and you can see the difference once more. I mean, it really is just a case of increasing the frame rates, just make it slightly crisper, and it's also filling in the other side of my face, and I think I'm a bit more cohesive. Although this light's a different color to this light. Don't know if you can see it. I'm slightly blue there, orange there. Because this is daylight. This is not tungsten. This is other light. So I might try and change that. But hopefully you guys think I'm burping now. It looks cleaner, brighter. So I've got a big ass light in the room now, and I might try and put the second one up. I haven't really room, but if it looks good enough, because I would like to give you guys better, crisper, crisper than this. A bit better at least.
You kind of froze there for a second, but yeah.
But this is good because it means that when Stuart comes here, we'll actually have theoretically a usable green screen set up, and theoretically we can turn another space into a workable studio space. Not that I have anyone in particular, but even if I was to say, because there isn't much room in this office, very little actually, but if you were coming, I could like swap it maybe so the desk is on this wall, and then it goes back on this wall because you need 2 people space, and these lights would be, because these lights aren't enough for one, for these are small desk lamps, but if we have these big lights, we can turn a dark space into a totally usable space, and we can film stuff together, because your setup's fine, but it's got multiple lights. So
yeah, I got all the lights. But
there you go.
Ooh, lights. Says Vile Mike.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah, so I don't know if we're going to get any more super chats. If you want a super chat, that'd be awesome. Otherwise, we'll probably call it quits soon. We call it a little bit sooner than the 2-hour mark. Because, yeah, we're finished talking. But, yes, stay tuned for new lives. There's new things going on, like unboxings.
Ooh.
Yeah. Of course, a lot of people have already got this one. This is the first one. But, and it's funny, the story behind this, which I'll tell in the actual unboxing video, but I'll mention it here too. We were contacted by them like a year and a half ago. And the original lady we had said we'd be getting all this stuff and, be able to review it. And there was a discount code, just yards, she came up with, which I thought was kind of stupid. However, we never received anything. And then we got a contact email from another gentleman from Loot Crate who actually sounded like he knew what he was talking about. And eventually we got these. And now the discount code for Loot Crate, should you ever want to get one, is just Trekyards, which makes sense because it's the same as our Eaglemoss discount code.
Yeah. Also want to bring something else up that's fun. We talked about this between ourselves, but I'm going to watch the Final Fantasy Spirits of Light.
No, it's Spirits Within.
There you go. At some point, and I've never seen it before, so it would be a genuine review, maybe do like a live stream talking about it, because there's obviously a plethora of things we can go back and watch, and it could be fun to do. Maybe, I don't think as point form notes, because we can't talk about the universe as much for things we don't know as much about, obviously. But it might be fun to do some random reviews of random films and such, because these super chats do huge things for the channel, and for a relatively small amount of support, they're worth doing. And you guys enjoy the direct interaction. You get very unedited us, literally, and bonus content. So it might be worth doing some cool things. There's a billion films and cool things out there, even just the movies.
He hasn't watched Spaceballs yet. Even though our good friend Mark Lawrence sent it to him because he's got to watch
can
it.
see
it's
the
up there.
Blu-ray.
It's up there. We got to watch it. I know. But Jill says, any more rewatch chats? What episodes to rewatch? We're going to watch all of them from Discovery. Eventually, we'd like to do all of them from all the series, to be honest. But we don't have the time or the income for that. So,
well, that's the thing, though. We did the TOS review and it earned less money than a normal episode, almost.
Yeah.
For 3 times the work. These lives make that doable, which is brilliant. Really, really brilliant. But we still need... We've had a lot less people watching today, despite, I don't know what else going on. Not saying anything bad about that, but it's been very small numbers. But we need like 120, 150 people each time. But we'd love to do more things and do random episodes, even like we did with Threshold. Somebody donates to get an episode, someone donates to get a season, and just those 2 donations make it worth it for us to do the thing. So I don't know if you guys want to do that. Maybe we can pick the next episode. And if you want to do it, there's not that many people here today.
We're not going to do it now. We got to get the Discovery ones out of the way. But then after that, and after Discovery Season 2, we'll come up with, ask you guys in the chat, and, for a certain amount of donation, we'll do an episode of your choice kind of thing. That might be a good idea. And where is it here? Thomas Potts says, how long is that discount available? All the time. It doesn't expire, so...
Just like a wonderful Eagle Moss one.
Saves you 10% through Loot Crate, so...
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's and have you looked in your crate?
I've taken a peek, yeah, but I haven't taken anything out because I want to save it for the unboxing, so... Yeah, we were going to do that together, but I don't think it's going to line up too well, so...
Jill, right, please don't let anyone pick episodes like Threshold again. I like watching Threshold.
I did too.
It was really interesting. And again, it proves that we review them fairly.
Yeah.
And
they're all worth talking about. They've all, as we've said all along, they all have their good and bad. Every Star Trek series, every Star Trek episode has its good things and its flaws, and we like pointing them out because that's what we do.
Yep. And on that note, guys, 10 more bucks and we can leave. Anyone who's the savior of the day? Because you gotta do something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe if we can have set hours for live streams, that would be a lot of people here. Hey, Xander, we do them at 10 p.m. Wednesdays and Sundays are our most regular. Obviously, we've skipped out those a couple of times recently, but until then it was every Wednesday and every Sunday. Same time zone. I think we only had 1 during the messed up 2, maybe messed up during the messed up time zone thing. So apart from that, it's been every single time.
The problem with the schedules is it doesn't always work for me this time of day, and that's why sometimes I'll go on earlier in the day to do a live because I have free time. Or sometimes even later because we got to hit all the time zones, and this is a really bad time zone for where I am, Eastern Standard Time, because everybody's coming home from work, so they're coming in just as we're starting or getting off work around then. Or
that's the problem.
And then Pacific Time is the afternoon, so everybody in California is at work.
and any later than this, UK's gone to bed. Any earlier than this, LA's... Well, everyone's at work. That's why weekdays are weird ones. Weekends are good, but then we obviously have our own weekend plans too. And I only have 1 weekend free or 2 weekends free. I say free. Away.
Thomas, move along home. That would require a hefty super chat for me to do because I hate that episode with a passion. That would be like at least a $50 super chat to request that one.
See, at least Threshold is science.
Yes, Threshold, the first half I like, with the whole Warp 10 thing, and, that was cool. The end is... Why did I think Stuart was in BC? I don't know.
And we just had a confession, Stuart.
What?
Vile Mike. I'm watching it work.
Where do you work? Just put it in the chat. I promise I won't call them and rat you out.
Can I
actually,
Vile Mike, please? Who?
I need a super chat. I need a super chat from Vile Mike as a bribe, so I don't call his work. Samuel Custer again puts in $10. Samuel here to save the day, both in Trekyards land and the chat world. Enterprise Cogenitor or Enterprise Shuttlepod 1. Would love to hear your guys' thoughts on those sometime soon. Okay, I know both of those ones, so I don't know if it'll be soon. Like I said, we got to get these Discovery reviews done before January, and it might require doing a couple a week to kind of get caught up.
I think we can. I think if we do maybe 2 next week, if we're feeling it, maybe 3. Just because it will be good to burn through them, so we can do other topics.
If we do 2 or 3 during the week of Discovery, then we can do like a Cogenitor or Shuttlepod 1 on Sunday to take a break from Discovery.
On Sunday after, yes.
Yes, the Sunday after. That's what I meant.
Mm-hmm. Well, I like... Which one was Congenitor the suicide bomber one?
No, Cogenitor is the one with the sun, actually, where they go into the sun, and there's that... the third party that's there for reproduction, but she doesn't have any education or whatever, and at the end she ends up killing herself because Trip basically told her that, yeah, that's the one.
Spoilers.
I own an eBay store and I'm a third-party merchandiser. Oh, that's why he's watching at work, so I can't call his boss.
Well, you could be him. I'm sure he'd love that call.
Hello, Mike. Yeah, this is Captain Foley from Trekyards here. Did you know one of your employees is, not doing his job? Just
yeah, it's me, Stuart. I'll talk on the chat. Go away.
Are you guys going to be doing streams most of the time now? I miss your regular format. Sorry, I'm slow on the uptake. Our regular format is still there. We still have all of our regular content coming out. Wednesday's mission briefings. We've got Fleet Yards. It's Tuesday. We've got Saturday, our regular releases. So all the regular content's still there.
You're doing 2 videos on Friday, which is amazing because from mostly one every once in a while, Captain's Log, to 2.
Yeah, so I do my Captain's Log 9 o'clock on Friday, and then the Eagle Moss ship review at 12 o'clock on Friday. So there's 2 on Friday, 1 on Saturday, 1 on Tuesday, 1 on Wednesday. All of our regular content, that's it. It's all still there. It's not going anywhere. These are just bonus videos. So I hope you guys can understand how much we do for you guys and how much we love doing this stuff.
Well, that's the thing. We're producing content that doesn't earn us anything because we know you guys want it. As long as we now produce this new content that'll earn us money to keep doing the content.
Yes.
I replaced the Sunday podcast with Sunday stream, but it actually works even better because you get a better discussion, a better chat. But we hope when Discovery comes out, we can sort of do both. Because obviously then other content will be put on hold. But we're hoping for both because we know obviously I don't tend to watch live streams as much because I would like to know a good 20-minute review than an hour review, depending who it is. If it's a professional, sure, that's different. But these things are ready for you guys live, and then obviously we doing an hour review of Discovery the first time round, these aren't that much different.
Yeah.
Really, and the fact that we can still show pictures. I remember when we started, we weren't sure if we could even do pictures, but in terms of format, we could theoretically do live reviews of Discovery as well, again, and you would be very similar to the first review, just live, talk to people, which is amazing. We can do that. Just a little bit of lag and whatever. It's a great format. It's really, really cool to be able to do this sort of thing.
Yeah. So there you go. There's your $10, Samuel. So I guess we can end now.
There we go. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Both Samuels, thank you very much. And everybody else that contributed to Super Chat, everybody that just joined us to watch, we appreciate it all. But now I got to go make some food for people.
Ooh.
We're going to have tacos tonight. It's Taco
Is it Taco
Wednesday. Anyway.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.